over some of the awards and everybody who won everything because where I left off and where I stopped kind of watching. The other thing that I want to do too, let's be 1,000% real, is I want to look at memes too. This is where I'm kind of like proofreading everything because I'm making sure that like my audio is good so I don't get because there have been times when I've looked at memes and my channels. I haven't gotten a strike yet, but I just want to look at this and watch some memes because I'm telling you what, the NFL has been absolutely ruthless with its memes as of late. But then the other thing that we can look at too is I wanted to go over some of, my reaction to Stafford winning the MVP. Personally, this is what I kind of was predicting, leaning towards. We can go over some NBA news as well because there is a meme that I'm going to post later that you guys are going to see about just Anthony Davis and the Mavs and stuff. I'll post that meme later. But then the last thing that I wanted to look at too was the NHL because the Olympics, I believe, Olympics are starting this week. And so the NHL is done and we'll be doing the Milan Cortana games. And so NHL, like as you can see, we'll look at all the scores of today, but it looks like the Lightning beat the hell out of the Panthers. As you can see, some of the games are all done. Kings and Golden Knights are still going on. But when you look at the dates here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no games because we will be going into the Olympics. So if you guys enjoy sports, be sure to hit that like button. I would appreciate a like and a sub if you guys like sports. But let's get going and let's get this thing started. So some of the, let me make sure we're good. No crazy echo or feedback. Nope. Looks like we're good. Looks like we're pretty good. Audio might be a little weird, but just making sure the music doesn't tune me out with its peaks. Okay. All right. I think we're good. All right, guys. But hello, welcome in. This is GVS, where I try to cover all things sports. And sometimes, just trends and topics, things that are, the hot buttons or what people are talking about at the time. Like right now, if you ask any movie expert, what's the movie that everybody's talking about right now? Everybody's talking about, TV show wise, everybody's talking about the hockey one. Movie wise, everybody's talking about Markiplier's, Iron Lung, which I got to give a review on that one of these days. But one thing that we could talk about tonight with just what's, coming up, Super Bowl 60. I don't know how long it has been like this, but usually the awards have fallen on the week of the Thursday before. I'm still, because Vrabel won tonight and a couple Patriots won tonight, but they couldn't speak. And then when Tom Brady and Mahomes won the MVP a couple years, they were at the Super Bowl, so they couldn't give their speech. Last year, I think I did this, and I think I talked about it during a stream or something. But last year, because I kind of am who I am, I looked at where the location was. Because here's the thing about the NFL honors. When they do the NFL honors, it's not like the Pro Bowl where it was set in one spot where, the location is Hawaii or the location is in Arizona because, we want to play the Pro Bowl on a natural grass field that, isn't frozen because, you go to Mile High, Foxborough, New York, you go anywhere outdoors around this time of year, the grass is frozen. But, you head west, it could be rainy up in Washington, which is probably why they never did a Pro Bowl in Seattle. But like California and Arizona, those are the only teams. And at the time too, when they had some of the Pro Bowls in Arizona, Allegiant Stadium was only a thought. You know what I mean? But anyways, they've had recently, what I've noticed, they've had the award ceremony in the host city. And I know that a lot of times the teams that are on the Super Bowl teams, like they don't participate in the Pro Bowl, which I get that, and they don't participate going to the award show. there's parts of me, and I only say this because last year I looked at it. You go from Mercedes-Benz Dome, where the Saints play, where Super Bowl 59 was hosted. You follow, I don't know what the main street in downtown Louisiana was, but like it's like right by the highway. There's an amphitheater there, where there's been concerts, and I was just throwing it out there that it's like, you know what, just right down the street, you could have. This is where you could host the NFL Honors, because that's not where they hosted it last year. They hosted it at some other location, but it's like this is literally right down the street, from where the Super Bowl is. Rent the place out, have about 500 chairs there, because there's probably, I don't know, 100 table arrangements, but so the people who were in the Super Bowl could also go, because I don't know, travel restrictions or schedule restrictions or whatever. I don't know the whole ordeal, but that's just a thought that I had of how, you get to the Super Bowl and you get to this host city. I bet there are plenty, especially with how it's California, I bet there are plenty of pavilions, amphitheaters, movie theaters, town halls. I bet there's numerous, because it's California. There's numerous places where you could go that could host up to 500 people, because you have the award winners and the nominees, you have their families, and you could probably find a room big enough to fit 100 tables or something. I don't know. That's just a thought I had to find a way to get, because to me, what would be super cool to see eventually is if, like, one year, yeah, they're Matthew Stafford wins the MVP, and then, hey, you see him on Thursday, then follow up, you see him on Sunday, he wins the Super Bowl. Something cool like that, but it hasn't been like that. Anyways, and I guess if you want to look at it this way, the quote curse of the MVP, the Madden curse or whatever, still reigns, where, hey, the MVP hasn't won the Super Bowl in the same year, and it's been a handful since that has happened. So, all right, let's look at some of the award winners tonight. Here we go. I want to look. So Bobby Wagner was honored for Man of the Year. Let me look. I want to look, because it just ended. It's like, what are you doing there? No, not messing. Will you close it? Maybe AP News. No, this isn't it. There's way too much. No, there's way too much other stuff going on here on this particular website. Yahoo? What about Yahoo? Oh, okay. I'm trying to look for if there's a cool. Maybe I just have to go to NFL.com. Let's try that. Hold on. We could also talk about too, my every award winner from the 15th. Oh, here we go. Hopefully there's not a video attached to this, because I don't want. Nope, go away. Nope, go away. Because you know how it is. Sometimes there's the ad, and the ad will. All right. Okay, this will do. So, should we start at the bottom? Because it seems like we did. Because it seems, okay, we'll work our way up. Because it seems like it went from. because literally one of the first awards that was announced was Defensive Player of the Year, and we all knew it was going to be Myles Garrett because he won the sack record. Claimed, accomplished. I don't know what word I'm trying to use, but he got the sack record, broke the sack record, and so we kind of knew that was going to be the main one. But to see how early it was in the show, a little surprising. But for the Jim Brown Award, I believe that goes to the best running back of the season. James Cook wins it, Bills running back. And there's a high school flag, NFL Fan of the Year. I know Tom Grossi won it one year for being a Packers fan. Okay, AP, here we go. Deacon Jones Sack Leader Award, Myles Garrett. Shocker. Hey, shocker. The sack leader, wins the award. Okay. AP Assistant Coach of the Year. This is what I was talking about the other day with kind of how it was playing out. I was like, watch. The coordinator, and the coach are going to win it in tandem, because why would the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks win it, but not the head coach? And I said the same thing about McDaniels and Vrabel, because I was thinking, because for example, because the other nominees was the OC for the Eagles, who, by the way, got fired, the DC for the Broncos, who, by the way, got fired. My brain was just like, why would they give the award to someone who got fired? And so when you looked at it, the remaining coaches who were still like within contention were the only ones that were still hired. And I was like, they're probably not going to give it to Shanahan, because 49ers didn't get that far. I could see them giving it to Vrabel because they're playing in the Super Bowl. I could see them giving it to McDonald because they're playing in the Super Bowl. And then it ended up being Josh McDaniel for offensive coordinator, and then it ended up being Vrabel, which it makes sense to have both of them, because why would the DC for the Broncos win it after he got fired, and then the head coach be someone who didn't make the Super Bowl? Like, I understand. All right, Salute to Service Award, Christian McCaffrey. I think George Kittle won this handful of years back. I don't actually remember, because I saw that McCaffrey got on the stage more than once. I knew he won the Comeback Player of the Year award, and so my thought to that was, okay, if he wins the Comeback Player of the Year award, somebody else is going to win the Offensive Player of the Year. So I don't know who actually won that award. FedEx Aaron Brown Players of the Year, Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Okay. Protector of the Year, Joe Thuney, the Bears guard. Okay. Pro Football Hall of Fame class. Yeah, we can talk about them. So we have Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig. Personally, I thought Roger Craig was already nominated. It's one of those, like, you look at the eras and the dynasties, like everybody who was on the Cowboys teams, a lot of them are already in the Hall of Fame, like the Emmitt Smiths and the Troy Aikmans. You look at the 49ers teams who have won it back when they were really good in the 80s, when they were with Montana and Steve Young. Like, yeah, Montana, he's in the Hall of Fame. Jerry Rice in the Hall of Fame. If I'm not mistaken, Law is also in the Hall of Fame. And so my brain, who was their running back at the time? Roger Craig. So I guess my brain defaulted to, they're in the Hall of Fame, but I didn't know he wasn't in there. So it's kind of one of those where it's like, that makes sense. Vinatieri being in it, you have to put him there, considering how many clutch kicks that he has made in his career, how many Super Bowls he's won, because we've had that fun. There's that fun talk where and it's more recent. It's more recent talk, because we have Justin Tucker, which I know, hot button. No, but Justin Tucker and Harrison Butker and Evan McPherson, I think, because we were talking about clutch kickers who have made clutch field goals to help their team um, get to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. And when you look at the Bengals run all, handful of years back, how, yeah, Bengals made some clutch field goals against the Chiefs, against the Titans, against the Raiders. I believe he made a field goal or two against the Rams in the Super Bowl. Like, you could throw him up there on that list. And then with how many, until Cam Little, Tucker did break Matt Prater's record, and he held it for a while. But now Cam Little has it. So, well, and then also, if I'm not mistaken, which probably, let's fact check it. I'm not, didn't Tucker make, here, Justin Tucker made a field goal though, but I'm wondering, did he send, here, because I don't know if it was the one that sent the Ravens to go play the Patriots in the AFC or to the Super Bowl. Let me go. Justin Tucker field goal. AFC championship. Well, okay, hold on. So he's missed one. Has not missed a field goal in the AFC championship game during his career. I'm wondering if there was any clutch field goal. Because again, people with his percentage, because I think his kicking percentage was one of the league's best, which is why it was. Did he make a kick when he was a rookie? Because I know he was a rookie. Look. Let me show you. Super Bowl. Because he was a rookie when they went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. I don't know, because he made one. Look at this. Made a kick in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. I don't know if he was necessarily... I don't know if he was the reason they got there, though. Anyways, all these comparisons were just because... people were like, could he eventually catch Vinatieri? And it's like, no. Because again, the way I look at when you want to talk about GOATs, who's the best all time, is you have to pin them. Like, head to head needs to mean something, but then also being in that position and executing and getting it done. I.e., and, we are long ways before Patrick Mahomes retires. But this will be my only reason as to why Mahomes personally will never be my GOAT, unless he actually wins 8 Super Bowls and has more than Brady. Because and this is my only thing, when they played head-to-head, Chiefs versus Buccaneers, what happened? Brady won. His team won. This is a team sport. And I think, well... you look at, so then in the same breath, trying to compare Tucker or Butker or McPherson to Vinatieri, how many of them have made clutch kicks in the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl or send their team to the next round in the playoffs? None of them compare to Vinatieri, because Vinatieri, I believe, has 2. Adam Vinatieri... because he was also the kicker in the Super Bowl against the Saints, which I know they didn't win that, but yeah. Come on now. Which, this wasn't even Brady's first. This was his second one. This was the Super Bowl against the Panthers. This was the Super Bowl against the Rams. I mean, come on. And again, you look at Tom Brady's whole career, all of it. Tom Brady's career could go very differently, and we could be having different conversations if 3 or 4 plays didn't go the positive way for the Patriots. Because he shanks 2 field goals, there's 2 rings. Malcolm Butler doesn't get an interception, there's a 3rd one. You know what I mean? Like, it's a team sport. So, yeah. No other kicker, by my knowledge, has been able to... Because, again, you got to be in these positions and you got to make these kicks. And Haven't seen it out of anybody else besides Vinatieri, which is why he's freaking awesome. But then for Harrison Butker, his let's do where he his kicks. I mean, I will say I will give him credit in this one. In this Super Bowl in particular, a lot of people might forget because it was a while back. This game was absolutely boring until like the final 5 minutes of the game that sent it to overtime. Jake Moody and Butker had a field goal kickoff the whole game where they just went kick for kick because I think it was like 9-12, something like that, heading into the here. Let's look Super Bowl 50. I'm like, what Super Bowl are we on now? We're in so many. There's so many Super Bowls. Where is... here we go. So, kicking. There we go. 3 for 3, 4 for 4. So, it was a field goal fest until it went to overtime. So, yeah, and then it got super entertaining right there at the very end. Voice crack, hello. Where the Chiefs ended up winning it in OT. Yep. Peak. I think this might have been Mahomes' peak of his career. I don't know. Anyways, great game. Hell of a game. Hell of a game. All right. Now, who else? So we have Vinatieri. We have Luke Kuechly. I mean, come on. Luke Kuechly was another, when you look Cam, Greg Olsen, Torbert. No. Who was their running back? Super Bowl 50. Who's their running back? Where is he? There he is. Jonathan Stewart, but there's another one. They had two of them. But yeah, he had a big touchdown. And then I think Ginn was a wide receiver. I think Ginn Jr. Yep. He had a play. He had a couple plays in the Super Bowl. Who else? When people talk defense wins championships, everybody points to Super Bowl 50 though, and Super Bowl 48 because, I mean, Legion of Boom just destroyed the Broncos. Any other? Oh my gosh, how could I forget? Yeah, he was on the Panthers as well. Jared Allen. Jared Allen was on the. He was on the. This was his only Super Bowl because he never went with the Vikings. Closest he got with the Vikings was against the Saints in the NFC title game. I think he had a sack in the Super Bowl too. Could be wrong. Yeah, this Panthers team, it's crazy. Like the Panthers have not been the same since. Like, yes, they've gone to the postseason. They lost to the Rams, and like there's been a lot of turnover since. But this, I mean, dude, this Panthers team was. I mean, come on, look at it. Let me show you. Like this was the team. Cam's MVP season. They went 15-1. I don't even remember like like they were fighting each other in training camp before the season. Dude, this photo was freaking everywhere because everybody hated Norman. Everybody hated him. This was when Norman and Odell had their beef. This is in the prime. Who did they lose to? They lost a game though. See, they went 15-1. Who was that? One loss to. Falcons? Huh? What? Let's go look. Panthers versus Falcons. 20-13. And then they played each other again and got whooped. What was Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Freeman, Julio Jones? I guess just a bad day at the office. Oh, well, well, yeah. Yep. Yeah, Luke Kuechly is amazing, but he's not. No, he's not guarding that. Was there any other play that? See, I don't remember why they lost this game. I would just assume it's because Julio's a beast. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, no, not a lot of receivers can make linebackers and DBs look like that. Which Julio Jones, I don't even know. Is Julio Jones Hall of Fame? When is he eligible? I mean, I think he retired like. You have to wait he's got a while. If this is accurate, 2030, he's got a while. Because I think his last year, I think he played with the Eagles last year. I think the Eagles were officially his last team. No, the Bucks were. No, never mind. Player of the week, week 17, 2023. Oh, okay. So yeah, no, he's not eligible. Okay. Hey, he did make one of the best Super Bowl catches though. Come on, that is hella impressive. It only gets shown up a little bit because of this catch, because of how freaking crazy this catch was. This catch was insane. Freaking insane, dude. Yeah, Edelman was crazy. I'm still under the impression too that I don't know if this Super Bowl can ever be beat. And maybe that's just the delusional over my eyes of watching this game, just because of how out of hand it got so early, where watching, because as a Packers fan, watching the Falcons just rip apart Green Bay the week before, and I think it was like 42-16 or something in that NFC Championship game. The second this game turned into like 21-3 and Brady threw that interception or something, and it was like second quarter, it's like, yeah, this game is most likely over. And then you also have to consider too, like 2 years before, like we watched the Seahawks just destroy the Broncos. So it's like, yeah, there might be a blowout here. Didn't shock anybody. Nobody was too surprised with if it was going to be a blowout. And then just little by little, they just fought and got their way back into it, which, again, freaking 3 defenders, and he comes up with the ball. The craziest craziest freaking catch in Super Bowl history. One of. Not actually the craziest. And then this Super Bowl, everybody talks. See, and I think, don't get me wrong, this Super Bowl is amazing against the Seahawks, but that Falcons one is just on another level. On another level, just considering how just many things clicked and went the right way for the Patriots for them to win it. What's another Super Bowl that was fun? You know, another Super Bowl that gets slept on too? This one. Everybody just really, like, this Super Bowl gets slept on a lot. And I understand why, because it's the Eagles, and it's like, fetch the Eagles. But, no, this, like, they were not supposed to win this game. No one thought they could, and they did. Foles played out of his freaking mind. What else? Where's the play I'm thinking of? Which there was a moment. Oh, it's right here. Alshon Jeffrey. This is when Alshon Jeffrey was arguably a number one. Not a lot of people think he was. Gronk had a big game. I think he left the game with a concussion too. I could be wrong. Like he had 2 touchdowns that game. There were a lot of memes made of this, like the Lombardi Trophy, and it'd be like, "Ooh, you got to be quicker than that." But yeah, this was one of the better Super Bowls. That it gets forgotten because it just does. And I'd take this Eagles Super Bowl over this one all day. Because yes, as entertaining as this one was, because they beat the Chiefs and stopped the Chiefs from a three-peat, this one pales in comparison to what, I mean, because this was the Patriots in their, like, the prime of, like, Brady and stopping Brady. All came down to a Hail Mary. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm getting distracted again. Okay, back to it. Larry Fitzgerald and Drew Brees. Not surprised with those two because, I mean, they deserve it. And the sad reality of how Drew Brees only has one ring is super, super upsetting as well, too. Because, I mean, how many times, speaking of this Super Bowl, I mean, dude, they were seconds away. Like, there were 3 separate. I would say this year could have been Saints Patriots. I mean, who put that there? And then this one right here. I don't remember when people talk about Saints choking and not being able to make the Super Bowl. I don't remember this game as much as this divisional round. I don't remember as much. Anyways. Okay. All I remember is, it went to overtime. Oh. Anyways. Yeah, no, the Saints, those three straight years, they had a shot to win it. And okay, where is... Then Walter Payton, NFL Man of the Year, Bobby Wagner, Moment of the Year, the game-winning Hail Mary, which, that makes sense. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Who were the nominees? I don't even remember who the nominees were. This was last year because DeJean Fisk verse. This was last year. Anybody can anybody tell what year this was? Wow. Look at this. Okay. Who are the nominees in 2026? Oh. Abdul Carter. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, we did talk about this yesterday because I thought it would have been Nick because I'm looking at it from the point of view he's in the Super Bowl, and so I think that's why I made that safe pick of he'll be in the Super Bowl. He'll probably because Abdul Carter, he didn't do much with the Giants this year from the games I watched. Okay. Well, let's look at stats. Why not? While we're here, we might as well. Stafford wins his first MVP. Says he'll return. Yeah, we figured. Defensive leaders. Here we go. Because total tackles. He is. Oh wait, this is postseason. Gotta give it to him. He's up here at number 6. He's okay, and he's a rookie. Okay, because when you compare it to your other guys, nope. Where are we? We're right here. He's at 6 for total tackles. Sacks. Let's do sacks. Obviously, Myles Garrett, Danielle Hunter, Aiden Hutchinson, Nick Bonito. Where is he on this list? Whoa, we got to go a ways down. Malik Collins with 6.5. He's next on the list for the Browns. That's kind of funny. Let's keep going all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Alex Wright. So there's the 3rd Brown. Where's our 4th Brown? I think if we get to the single digits, Grant Delpit with 3, Cameron Thomas with 2.5. Okay, so we only had 2.5 sacks this year. Solo tackles 156. So he was 162 on sacks. He has less than look at that. He has less sack. Oh well, okay, they're tied. They're tied at 2.5, but he's even under. Okay, then what about interceptions? The fact that he wasn't even nominated, no Bears were nominated for Defensive Player of the Year is kind of like, okay. Devin Bush, I don't think he had any interceptions. Ronnie Hickman, oh, here we are. He had 2, okay. And so with his 2, he was ranked 41st. He was tied for 41st with, holy hell, look at this, 41st, and then jumps to 90. Whoa, look at all these people who had 2. Wow, okay. He was tied between 23rd place and 41st place. He was tied. He was thrown in there. Look at this. Look at all these 22s as well, from Cole Bishop all the way up to Derwin James. They had 3. And then Kamari Lassiter all the way to Tony Jefferson tied for 8th because they all have 4. Wow. That is crazy. That's a crazy stat to look at. Forced fumbles. Oh, there's no forced fumble. You can't click it to try to organize it, but let's see how many forced fumbles. 0 across the board there. Okay. Well, and I think if I'm going to be honest with Carson and why he won it, is when we were kind of transitioning from Dylan Gabriel to Shador, and people were talking about rookies like Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo. One of the rookies that was in conversations a lot was him because of the fact that he was not projected to be a starter, but then he won over the Browns locker room and ended up being a starter. But not only being a starter and getting starter reps, like making an impact to the point where it's like, okay, he, you know, if Browns fans are talking about him in their own streams or just making videos on how, wow, look at this rookie linebacker we got, I think that made a big enough impact for people to nominate him or talk about him, because you look at who the Browns drafted, he wasn't even their first defensive guy drafted, because it was they drafted the guy out of Michigan. Browns draft class 2025. Yeah. They didn't even get him. He wasn't even their first guy. The draft order, if I'm not mistaken, went boom. He was first, and then yeah, let me just, oh, he was second. Round 2 pick. Round 3 pick 5. Mason Graham, Carson Schlesinger, Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fanning, Dylan Gabriel, Dylan Sampson, Shador Sanders. Yeah. So. And who ended up being the best defender that whole year for the Browns? Myles Garrett. Who's probably going to retire without a ring if he stays on the Browns? Myles Garrett. Yeah, I remember a lot of people were making fun of Graham too, because he was like puking in a preseason game or something. Like that's how little I kept up with the Browns this season, because it's like, no. It wasn't like a handful of years back in 2023 where they made a push for the playoffs with, like, the second Joe Burrow went down and they cut Joe Flacco and gave him to the Bengals. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Because from there on, you didn't know what to expect for the Browns, because it's like you got rookie quarterbacks. Ooh. Let's go look at Tennessee. How many games did Tennessee win this year? Oh. Wow. It's as if when the expectation for a rookie to come in and just magically change things and get all these wins, it's as if that doesn't work. It's only when you build the right kind of team around a player, like the Patriots, like the Bears, like Washington. Only in those situations do the first year, second year, third year experienced quarterbacks get a little farther than everybody else. What a strange concept. It's so weird that happens every single time. Okay. Here we go. T-Mac winning the Rookie of the Year. I didn't, you know what, but it does make sense, though, because of how much everybody was talking about it. So yeah, we got T-Mac, and then how many more we got? We got a couple more. But it does make sense that he won it. And the only reason why is because I'm kind of wondering, why did he win it? I think a lot of it goes with playoff success and how far his team got versus the other rookies. Because if you look at 2026, you look at everybody else who was nominated. I was literally looking at it. Okay. So we have Jackson Dart, no playoffs. Super Bowl, but nobody was talking about Henderson. Like when people talked about the Patriots and the Patriots' success, everybody's been talking about Drake May. Not a lot of people have been talking about Henderson. And then Surprisingly, nobody's been talking about him, even though I think the Saints won 4 of their last 6 games. They went... Here, let me double check. The Saints went on a little run there at the end, even though they were not in playoff contention. Hello? Saints. Like, look. Because obviously they started out terrible. And I mean terrible. But then, when they were already eliminated from playoffs before November even started, they won 4 in a row. They eliminated the Bucks twice. Look, because they beat Tampa here, and because they beat Atlanta, the Bucks didn't go to the postseason. Suckers. No, but yeah. Well, okay. Well, now that I'm looking at it like this, there's context to it too, because not a playoff team. Not going to say that Tyler Shuck sucked. Not going to say that, but not a playoff team. Not a playoff team. Not a playoff team. So it's like, you beat 3 teams that didn't go to the playoffs. One of the teams that you did beat that did go to the playoffs, they only got there because, Interesting. Well, yeah, I don't know why my brain thought it was 6. No. 4 in a row. Huh. Well then, hold on, I want to look at something. What about 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions? Okay. Nothing too crazy. I just remember people at the very, around here after Thanksgiving, a lot of people were talking about, because they were talking about who in the South should go to the postseason and who's the best team in the South. And the Bucks had already fallen off. And a lot of people were talking about, well, the best team playing the best football right now is the Saints, because they've beat Tampa and they beat Carolina. And I remember people talked about that for a little bit. But anyways. And again, they started to play pretty decent football, but way after they've already been eliminated from the playoffs. Yikes. So, all right. So then, why did McMillan win it? Let's go look at McMillan's stats. Let's go this way. Okay, he led his team in receiving yards. Okay. He led his... Whoa, look at the receptions. 70, and next in line is 33. This is kind of like Puka and Devontae Adams. Like, Puka... I think Adams is a great receiver, but for Stafford, just Stafford in particular, Puka was his number one. Well, and then you look at this too. 7 touchdowns, next in line 4. Yeah. Like Xavier Leggett he only had 3 all year. Wow. Okay. Juba 3. He had 7 all year. Wow. Well, and then let's go look at because I was leaning towards Jackson Dart winning it. Well, let's go look at Travion Henderson's stats. Let's compare them side by side. So 7 touchdowns, but leading 7 touchdowns, but leading his team regular season. Travion Henderson leading his team in rushing, leading his team in carries. Touchdowns, next in line is 2. Look, 9, 7, 4. 30 catches, 221 yards, one catching touchdown. Okay. I can see how T-Mac would win it. Okay. And again, there was more buzz around him than there was Henderson. Because not a lot of people were talking about Henderson. They were talking more about Drake May. Emeka Egbuka. Everybody stopped talking about Emeka Egbuka after I think he rolled his ankle. He rolled his ankle and he missed some time, but then when he came back after missing time, nobody talked about him. Like he was making those great one-handed catches. The Bucks were playing really good, but the second the Bucks started losing games, nobody talked about him as much anymore. Okay, Jackson Dart. Let's go look at Dart's stats. Because out of all of these players, the one that was talked about the most was Jackson Dart. Like it kind of got to a point where it's like, all right, this team still only won 3 games. Let's take a breath here. Okay, my bad. They won 4 games, not 3. My bad. Because it was this. It was the Chiefs' loss, and then the fact that they beat the Chargers, and then they beat the Eagles, and then they beat beating the Chargers and the Eagles, and then kind of keeping it close. They kept it close in the first half against the Chiefs, but then keeping it close and blowing the lead against the Broncos. Boom, 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 boom. This 5-week run was what, this is why everybody was talking about the Giants. Anyway, so let's go look at stats for Dart. 2,000 yards. 15 to... hey, that... Tyler Shuck had 10. He had 15. That's not bad. We got 5 interceptions, though. Let's go look at... I know he is nowhere near Stafford, but what does he look like? Yards-wise, obviously, he does not compare. I would not be... yeah, all the way down here, even under Tyler Shuck. But what about touchdown passes? Wow, Cam Ward's not even... wow, Cam Ward and him threw the same amount. That is funny. Okay, I guess justice for Cam Ward too. Oh, but Cam Ward plays on a team that won how many games? 2? 3. Okay, my bad. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think Cam Ward got robbed a little bit from even just being nominated, even just being in the conversation. That is so funny. That's actually pretty funny. Okay. Any other big sacks, QB rating? Like, who had the best? Drake May, Jared Goff. And again, Jared Goff, nowhere in conversations for getting the MVP, nowhere. And I think, and my only reason why Jared Goff was not in consideration, same with Dak, because see how Jared's not here, Dak's not here, but Trevor's here. And then Caleb Williams wasn't nominated, but yeah, Baker. People were talking about Baker. But notice how the reasons why Trevor's here, Drake's here, playoff teams. Winning matters. And as much as people talk about how winning is not an important stat, well, clearly it is. Because Jared Goff had more passing touchdowns than Drake May, and but he wasn't even nominated. So yeah, wins matter. All right. What else were we gonna look at? My music's still playing. Hold on, let me double check. Yeah, I figured it wasn't. Okay, hold on. Let me take a swig break real quick. All right. Okay, Miles Garrett winning the Defensive Player of the Year. Not even surprised. Um, where? Okay, not even surprised that Miles Garrett won it because of him with the sack record. Um, no playoffs, injured, no playoffs. Um, the only the only other team that I was kind of like, hey, maybe I would say Will Anderson, only because of what Will Anderson was able to do against Drake May, but then also Aaron Rodgers. Because if Nick Bonito had like maybe a pick six against the Patriots in the AFC Championship, pick six against Josh Allen, or something like that, where it's like, okay, because of him, this is why the Broncos beat the Bills and moved on to the next round. Because of Bonito, this is why the Broncos were able to beat the Patriots and go play for Super Bowl 60. I could see that could be the reason why he would have won it, but with how none of these guys are in the Super Bowl, so there's no kind of gimme in that way or in that aspect. But you look how Myles Garrett, the biggest standout. I mean, I think he should have won Comeback Player of the Year. I'm going to be honest. Aiden Hutchinson should have won it. Cool that Christian McCaffrey won it. Not saying one deserved it more than the other, but in my own thoughts, Hutch. But with him and like all the stories or something, the big standouts and storylines, media coverage for the NFL this season, the biggest one was Myles Garrett winning because he got 23. I do not want to look up on Google Myles Garrett sack record because there might be some memes. Okay, let me look. Hold on. Let me proofread this. Hold on. Myles Garrett. Let me make sure there's no Myles Garrett sack. What? Like, here's the top search. Myles Garrett sack. I don't want to see that. Let's go. Sack record. $23.0. Yeah. And it was against Joe Burr, which, I mean, look, a lot of people are saying that Burrow dived on this play. I don't blame him because it's freaking Myles Garrett. I wouldn't want to get hit by Myles Garrett either, but there's a lot of, if you go look, you know, I'm glad this is right here because we'll just talk about this. There is a lot of conversation around what is really and I'm gonna just Jared Allen is up here, TJ Watt is up here, and like there is so much discourse between who out of Myles Garrett, Michael Strahan, TJ Watt, and Jared Allen. There is a lot of conversation over who truly has it, and I will leave it at that because, again, I'm not saying it's a huge thing like, hey, what's a catch? Can we define what a catch is in 2026? But no, there's a lot of there's a lot of and even, I mean, he broke it, but I distinctly remember even during this season after Joe Burrow fell, it's kind of like, well, does it count? And it's like, well, yes, because Garrett declared him down. But it's just one of those things where it's like, you know what? The fact that he got 23 alone and is even in the realm of getting 23, that's what's impressive enough. And also, the other thing too is Myles Garrett also had the privilege, kind of like, you know, Aaron Donald, Vince Wilfork, B.J. Raji, Clay Matthews, if he was trying to blitz J.J. Watt as well. the dude was getting triple teamed every game, double team or triple team. Like there was never a solo one on one. And then the other thing too is let's go look at the one game where he had it. It was the no, hold on. 2025. I want to see his 2025 stats by game. Why can't it show me that? Oh, wait. Game logs? Yes, here we go. Where is it? Boom, there it is. Which against the team who's in the Super Bowl, by the way. 5 sacks. And it was this game alone that kind of pushed to where look at that, that's actually pretty funny. Where it's like, okay, he might actually go get this thing. And then you also look, he follows it up too. Lamar was back. Lamar was back in this Baltimore game. 4. And so this game and this game and this game, the Vegas, well, it is Vegas. I will say that much. Because everybody, the other thing too with this Pittsburgh game right here, because he got 0, everybody was talking about, oh, the Steelers were so focused on not, giving up the sack record to Garrett that they weren't focused on 4th down and how to win the game. And it's like, no, I think the reason why they lost that game is because they threw it to Valdez-Scantling 3 straight times and it didn't work, which I think comes to play calling. Which, oh, by the way, Steelers fired their play caller and they got a new one. Wow. Crazy concept. But, yeah. Because after, well, I mean, just look at it. So there's 2, 4. He only had 5. And we're heading into week 8 and he only has 5. So yeah, I think this stretch right here is what pushed it to, okay, maybe he can go get it. And he ended up doing it, so yeah. And I'll say this too. Here's another thing, and this is no discredit to Myles Garrett either, because obviously, I mean, dude was the number 1 pick back in 2017. Because if people do a redraft, they still pick. Well, they either pick Myles Garrett or Patrick Mahomes just because of the success that Mahomes has had. But I have a feeling that when we continue, because they still talk about it with Michael Strahan. Look at that date. 25 years later, we are still talking about it because, oh, did Brett Favre go down early on purpose? That's what this is going to be 25 years from now. I can already see it. I can already see people talking about it still in the future. And I think it would be to discredit Myles Garrett just because of how dominant as a player he is, but also when we get into the weeds of the ticky tack, well, it's a point, it's a half of a and so yeah, I don't think until Aaron Donald comes out of retirement or Jared Verse, T.J. Watt, who else could potentially? Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, until they come out and they get the record and set it straight with 25 flat or 26 where they beat it by not a landslide, but a substantial amount. Oh yeah, well, okay, next up was 25. I have a feeling people will they'll they'll argue amongst themselves about who actually is the winner. So, yeah. All right. Offensive Player of the Year. Oh, to Jackson Smith-Njigba. Okay, I didn't think that would happen. I was leaning, as you guys know, I was leaning a little bit towards Christian McCaffrey, and the only reason why I was leaning towards McCaffrey was because you go look and you see, just, I mean, 49ers getting healthy, coming back. You look at how many pieces 49ers had missing this year, where there was one point in the season where Pearsall was their number one. Like, because Kittle was out, Ayuk was out, McCaffrey was out, Purdy was out, and it was Mac Jones and Ricky Pearsall having to go solve the whole damn thing. But like, with the fact that the 49ers won as many games as they did, and how McCaffrey was able to just be a gadget player, and help 49ers win as many games as they did. That's why I thought he would have gotten the Player of the Year, kind of like how Saquon did. But it ended up going to Smith-Njigba, which, I mean, it does make sense because he is a good receiver. He has helped the Seahawks in a lot of their victories. I mean, dude caught a touchdown pass in the championship game against the Rams. Dude had a touchdown pass. He had Sam Darnold's only touchdown pass against the 49ers because Seahawks run game was able to control that whole game. Player of the Year comeback goes to McCaffrey. I'm glad he at least won something, considering all the things he was nominated for. I mean, for hell's sakes, he was also nominated for he was nominated for the MVP. Am I missing anybody? Schlesinger, Bobby Wagner. Which I've always been a big Bobby Wagner fan. Because, dude, he's Utah State, you know. Utah State, great. Can't hate on the Aggies, bro. Trying to see if... Nope, I didn't miss anybody. But, McCaffrey getting comeback player of the year. And I'm not saying that an ACL tear is worse than snapping your leg on someone else's leg, like how Aiden Hutchinson did. I think the fact that both of them are back is impressive and an accomplishment of itself. I've said it, and I'll probably talk about it a lot, as much as I talk about how running backs are the forgotten staple of football, and I've been banging that drum since 2022, 2023. Go look and go watch the games. A lot of why the 49ers struggled last season was because they did not have a running game. And McCaffrey was injured because he was dealing with a hamstring. And then he tore the ACL in the Bills game. And look at that. When he's healthy, look how many games and just how scrappy and resilient that 49ers team was. With him being healthy, they won a lot of games. I'm not correlating and saying this is the reason why, because Brock Purdy also started the majority of last season's games too. And him as the starter, they still lost a lot of games and missed the postseason. But, I mean, you go look at Seattle. You take away Kenneth Walker. I don't know if, without Kenneth Walker, if the Seahawks beat the 49ers. I really don't. But honestly, they probably do, considering that the 49ers only scored freaking 6 points. But if you take Kenneth Walker away, and he's not as productive as he was for Seattle, did the Seahawks get the 1 seed? Because Walker had a really decent season. You take away what other running back had a really good season? I mean, you know, turn away Ravens fans, but a lot of Ravens games, Ravens fans will blame Derrick Henry for the reason why they lost. And so it's like, well, if he wasn't there, not fumbling, could they have... Again, it's a stupid hypothetical, but McCaffrey coming back is awesome, and him winning it is awesome. I think it from all the other guys as well too. Let's look at comeback of the player. Nominees, because last year it was Joe Burrow. That's cool. That's cool. That's a cool concept. I might use that. Where are the nominees, bruh? Okay, here we go. Gosh, it took forever to get there. Um, did Diggs tear his ACL in Houston? I don't know why Diggs is here. I don't know why Lawrence is here either. Because Prescott didn't Prescott roll his ankle or? Yeah, I only know why these two are here. What happened to Lawrence? Did Trevor Lawrence? Hold on. Hold on. Let's look at something. Oh, concussion. And a shoulder. Yeah, the Alshire hit. Yep. Yep. This gave him a concussion. And he never came back. This, dude, this is when he almost tore his ACL. Yes, I remember, yeah. Yep. This hit in particular is why a lot of people don't like Alshire. But yeah. Yep. And shoulder injury. Week 13. McCaffrey was out by week 8 or something like that against the Bills. I'm in a Dak. Hamstring. Okay. What about Diggs? Let's look up Diggs. Yeah, he tore his ACL. Yeah, okay. Okay, see, I knew I wasn't seeing shit. Week 8 against the Colts. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Which it almost seems crazy to think that he was on the Vikings. Because he went Minnesota, Buffalo, Houston, New England, correct? I might be wrong. All right now. Which we all know why he left Buffalo. Let's not act like it was all Josh Allen's fault. Why he left Buffalo would be the exact same reason why if AJ Brown leaves Philadelphia this offseason. It's all about touches, dude. It's all about touches in the NFL. You got to keep your receivers happy. Yeah, and then didn't Tank Dell get injured against the Chiefs that same year in the divisional or something? Someone tore. Yeah. Anyways, and then yeah, so So Prescott had the hammy, McCaffrey with the ACL, Trevor Lawrence with the shoulder and the concussion, and then Aiden freaking Hutchinson. Hold on, I don't think. Wait, Aiden Hutchinson. I don't think I can show it. Oh my gosh. I don't even. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna show that one. I'll just do this one. I'll do this one. Just he broke his leg against the Cowboys. I freaking yeah, dude. Just it sucked. Yeah, and it was early in this season, like early, freaking early in this season too. Week 5, week 4, week 5, and this was also after the Lions got the 1 seed, secured the 1 seed. I'm not saying that because Hutchinson was injured, that's why the Lions didn't go to the Super Bowl that year. Not saying that. What I am saying though is, and I'm still gonna sit by it, from teams that I've watched the last handful of years, as much as I give praise to the Eagles, the 49ers, the Rams, the Lions, who else? The Bucks. The Lions were one of those teams that was going to traject to, here we go. Because, well, just following the Lions and watching the Lions and what they've done, it made sense. But then also, you look and you see, go look and see who the Lions had starting for them in that divisional round game. They had 16 guys, almost as much as the 49ers did, but yeah, 49ers and the Lions have been just plagued with injuries, and it's cost them chances at the Super Bowl. All right, let me look. That's cool wallpaper. Yeah, this is what T-Mac looked like. Here's the cowboy, Myles Garrett. Which, could this be a nod of him being like, all right, I'm done being a Brown. Come get me, Cowboys. And here's McCaffrey looking like 007. I wonder how much will, especially with Myles Garrett, what will his kind of not legacy, because like we know he's going to go to the Hall of Fame, because I mean, look at Fitz is going to go to the Hall of Fame. Fitz only played for the Cardinals. There's parts of me where, like, would Browns fans be disappointed if he left Cleveland to try to go pursue a Super Bowl? You know what I mean? Because that's another thing too. We'll end the show tonight by talking about other sports, because we got to talk about other sports. Because the Giannis, we'll talk about Giannis and the whole Giannis situation later, but something to think about, because that was a hot topic last off season. Is Myles Garrett gonna leave? That's a cool wallpaper. Is Myles Garrett going to leave the Browns and go to the Eagles? Because that was the talk where, okay, if Myles Garrett signs with the Eagles and leaves the Browns, the Eagles are going to go back to back. Sorry, I got to move the. Who else do we got? Vrabel, Coach of the Year. Yeah, I can see, because it was either going to go to, it was going to him or it was going to the other guy. Like, I didn't think any of the other head coaches would get it. The only other one that, if not him or McDonald, Cohen. And the only reason why I'm leaving Cohen is because, considering his first year with Jacksonville and how far they got, winning the South, and coming a couple plays away from beating the Bills. Lawrence with a crucial last second interception to seal the game for the Bills defense, but yeah, they had chances. They could have won that game. AP most valuable player goes to Stafford. Now, happy about it, and it makes sense because I'm glad the NFL went this way with it, where touchdowns got to mean something. You look at when Mahomes won it all the way back in 2018. You look at when Rodgers went back-to-back and won it. I mean, stats matter. And like the fact that he led touchdowns too in the postseason where, hey, if he converts that fourth down, and then there's a couple other plays in that game too where, Stafford wins it and potentially, we convert on this fourth down and we get a touchdown against the Seahawks. Hey, we're playing in the Super Bowl. We're going to go play the Patriots. I think just with how impressive he has been, Adams turning back the clock, Puka Nacua playing well, with how successful the whole Rams offense was, like Corum as well with Kyron Williams, Higbee, like the Rams offense was a very fun team to watch. I'd say for the majority of the whole season, kind of like how we've been watching the Seahawks offense lately, going, oh, these guys are really fun. Because I'll admit, I haven't been watching the Seahawks all season. I've been more busy watching, okay, when are the Ravens gonna turn it on here? When's Saquon gonna get it going? But the Rams have been one of those teams consistently through and through, where back, I want to say it was probably when they started having their win streak in the middle of October and November, where like they beat the Lions and they beat let's go look. They beat a couple other teams. I keep forgetting every time. Yeah, they beat the 49ers, Seahawks, Buccaneers, and the Lions. Just in this stretch of, and the Ravens, but again, Lamar wasn't playing in this game. But Trevor Lawrence was. Like, this was a healthy Jacksonville team. So yeah, like look at this run here where they beat the Jags, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Bucks, and the Lions. Middle chunk of their season. It's kind of like, yeah, like this team, these guys are playing good. Stafford's playing his best football. They went 12-5. Could have had a shot at getting the 1 seed overall. Could have had a shot winning the West. To me, like it's cool. It's cool that he won the MVP. Very deserving. Second after that, I would say I'd be a little. Here, I would either have given it to McCaffrey because of how much I've gloated about McCaffrey, but if not McCaffrey, I would have given it to. Next after that, probably Drake May, considering how well he's done in his second year, and if not Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, because Lawrence had one of those seasons, kind of like how he did in the 22 to 23 season, where it's like, okay, here we go. You win the South when a lot of people thought the Texans would. You're competing against the Bills for a shot to go to the Mile High, playing the divisional round. You get to the postseason, you're playing well. Kind of like how it was a couple of years back when they had that huge comeback against the Chargers. So, I don't know, man. I think, but overall, oh, look at this. Here's a good throwback. Back last year when Josh Allen won it. Yeah, weren't these three were, I think these three were the headliners last year. Which, again, Saquon totally deserved it. Does Joe Burrow have a pierced earring? No dangly earrings. Which, what was so funny, not funny, funny, weird, is like Burrow was like, I do not want to win this award. Because again, why would you win the comeback player of the year? It's because you probably got injured. So, not probably, like you did get injured the year before. Let's see if we got any. Those are all the those are all the accolades, guys. Let's look at. I want to see if there's any memes that we can look at, because I will admit we gotta look at memes now. We gotta end this stream right. We gotta look at memes because we have been streaming for. Damn, we've been streaming for a while. Which, in fact, I haven't looked at. Okay, we're good. Okay. There we go. Let's look at some memes here. All right.
Well, the winner decided not to pull up tonight, so.
Okay.
I guess on his behalf, Jackson Smith Njigba.
Oh my gosh.
Nigaba.
Oh my. Shouldn't have comeback player of the year. Oh no. Not my 9. Oh my gosh. Lisa, which have y'all seen the? Whoa, hello. What the hell? Have you seen the memes about how CJ Stroud has shaved his dreadlocks and he's changed his whole personality after last postseason? Okay, defensively, he threw a lot of interceptions this year. Offensive player of the year, schedule of the year, choker of the year, most value. Oh my gosh, I can't even look at these, bro. Hypothetical. Hey, another hypothetical win for the SEC. Another hypothetical win for the SEC. CTE, he's already got it. Kicker of the year, very accurate. Least improved. Oh, this is so mean. So freaking mean. Back to it. That's a joke. Well, and here's why. Because freaking, dude, look, Chargers had a shot. They had a chance. New England just freaking owned them, dude. That game was terrible. Like, just, it was rough. It was a rough watch. Just because, yeah, they couldn't get anything going. Anyways, back to it. Least valuable team physician. Oh, yeah, because there's a theory running around that the electromagnetic fields of the practice facility to the, to like there's a warehouse or something down there in San Francisco where this is linked to player injuries and anyways, coach of the year, degenerate coach of the year because he went for it on 4th down every time. Performance of the year, yeah. Are we going to talk about that dog shit? No. General manager of the year. Dude, these are so, oh my gosh, these are so funny. Moment of the year, really? Week 1, opening night. Oh, okay. There wasn't any other. Oh, okay. Well, and freaking, hold on. There's a reason why. Where is he? Okay, and again, I'm going to say it. He is not fired in here because he had a kid. He's fired in here because Sam Darnold's in the Super Bowl. That's why. All right. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, I don't care. I'm probably going to get hit. Yeah, look at this freaking play here, dude. Just gets freaking rocked. Here comes Sean Taylor. Boom, baby. Yeah. Pro Bowl used to mean something, dude. Yep. Pro Bowl, really flag football in a warehouse on a Tuesday night. Yeah.
And from the Cleveland Browns, Shador.
He can still sling it. I know that. The rookie.
Putting up huge numbers for just for their defense. Yeah. Really, is that all the memes we got out of? That's funny. I think those are all the memes we have. Like, oh, I thought there would have been so much. Hold on, let me refresh real quick. Well, hold on, let's check. Nope. Nothing. We got nothing. Damn, I thought there would have been so many more memes. Because it's like, it's NFL honors, you know what I mean? Hold on, let me go check one more thing. Oh, did they? Oh, let me check. Anybody knows that Chapel runs on Fortnite? No. Let's go here to the NFL. We got nope. Just a whole bunch of no memes here. No memes here, all business. And again, he retired so quickly. Like, it was a quick retirement. He retired really fast, like Andrew Luck. Which, oh my gosh, I don't even know if Andrew Luck could make the Hall of Fame. I really don't. Anyways, see if we got any more memes. Let's go look. Memes. See if the Ghetto Gronk. Nope. Same stuff. Like, bum of the year. Oh my gosh. What about this?
Nigga, hey, clear my goddamn career. I only got mad because of my ankle, my. Nah, I am. I'm straight right now.
Oh, wait, so what's your diet looking like?
My diet?
Okay, I was about to say, shit, I'm gonna get hit here. Again, the memes are freaking undefeated. Okay, there's nothing. We're gonna have to do this in another stream because I've been freaking streaming for almost 2 hours. There's a lot. Well, we can probably do after the Super Bowl because there's a lot of, like, even we got back here. Freaking, yeah. Not a lot of memes. Hold on. Nope. Damn. I knew it was too good to be true. Hold on. Yes, this one. Let's see if we got any of this.
Why isn't it possible?
I will not sign one of these. I'm good. Wait, let's check one more. Let's check and see if the Doe's got any memes. Doe's gotta have memes. No, just the same. Nope. Same stuff. Parsons and Pro Bowl. Nothing. And I already made the joke about the dreadlocks. Nothing. All the memes are. I guess we'll have to wait till the Super Bowl's over for some more funny memes. Let me go look. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. Oh, look at this. This is crazy. Unreal. Okay, I've been seeing this logo around. Is this a concept logo or the real logo, you think? Parts of me want, I would love to see the I would love to see the NFL go back to, like, look at this. I'd love to see the 80s and the 90s come back for NFL logos where, like, we had our fun. We had our fun where we had this inventive era. Let me see, am I cutting it? Oh, I am cutting it off. Where? Nope. Still in the way. How about here? Kind of in the way still. But like we had our corporate years, Super Bowl 45 through Super Bowl 49, you know. Then we had our fun inventive era of where Super Bowl 50 was a colorful fun logo. Where's a good example? And then we had all these, you know, where there's a little bit of pizzazz. Still one of the most slept on logos. This logo's awesome. This logo with the Vegas sign, again, awesome. I would love to see, though, Super Bowl come back to like these kind of logos where, like, here, let me do Super Bowl 61. See if anybody's got a logo yet. It's going to be in SoFi. Again, concepts. Like, I'd take this one. This one looks good. This one looks pretty fun. Anyways. Like one of these kind of concepts. I mean, come on. Amazing Super Bowl logos. Okie dokie. Let's go look at. So we got Stafford, and that's my thoughts on. Let's go look at the NBA. See if we got any. Oh, yes. Let's talk about Giannis. Because Giannis didn't end up leaving. Okay. I've been kind of talking about this a little bit. I did kind of think and was leaning into, you know, maybe Giannis does leave. Because, I mean, if people are talking about it this much, maybe it does happen. But, like today he posted, he was talking about, here, let me show you. No, where's the quote? Because I don't want to butcher the quote. Here we go. Let's go this route. How do you spell Giannis? There he is. Legends don't chase, they attract. The show goes on. Anyways. So, or this one. No pencil, but I'm still drawing all the attention. Which, great PR move. Like, Giannis knew exactly what was going on. Giannis knew that he'd be in trade talks, and Giannis knew that, I mean, everybody, and I said it because, you know, I'll own it. I said that if Giannis leaves, whichever team he goes to, they're going to win the NBA Finals. Because you go put Giannis on the Knicks, you go put Giannis with Denver, you go put Giannis with the Lakers, the Warriors. Who's the next best team in the East? Pistons are better than the Knicks. My bad. But you go put Giannis with the Bucks, the Cavs. Like, Giannis is one of those players where, yeah. But there's parts of me that do think Giannis is the main dude. He's the head honcho with the Bucks, and a lot of players look at Dame time. Because when Damian Lillard left Portland, he went to the Bucks because it hypothetically, like looking at it, it made sense because Damian Lillard was not going to win a championship in Portland, and so you go to the Bucks, your chances of winning get like better because the team does get better. Now there were some timely injuries and all that, but you look and see kind of just, with the landscape of where the NBA is, it made sense. Uh-oh. We're frozen. No, we're good. I think we're good. Sorry, people. But, he didn't end up leaving, which I was torn. Like, I did think he was going to leave because everybody was talking about, but him not leaving does make sense just because of how, if he was going to leave, he would have already been traded long ago. He actually, thinking about it, he probably would have been traded after they lost to the Heat back in 2023 because they should not have lost that series. Considering, now, again, this is from the point of view of a Heat fan. Maybe I'm coping with it a little too much, but Giannis was not injured that whole series. Giannis missed 2 games. And at one point in that series, can we acknowledge that Jimmy Butler just took over? And can we also acknowledge the fact that there was the game where the Bucks could have tied the series, but they didn't, which helped the Heat take the 3-1 lead? Can we acknowledge those games? So, if he would have gotten traded, I could have seen him get traded after that game, but he didn't. And he stays with the Bucks, which means, if I'm going to be honest, I mean, look, dude, they're still fighting to try to get to the play-in. I would say he gets to the play-in, and then it turns into Bucks Pistons round 1, or Bucks Knicks round 1. So look at it that way. Like, who can Giannis try to get, will the team? Who can be that second piece? The Giannis and the whole team can try to will their way to go beat because right now, the Bucks. Because and that's even if the Bucks can fight their way back into a playoff spot and beat Orlando or Miami or Atlanta or Charlotte. That's even if they can get in there. But then after you get into the play and move on, get that 7th or 8th seed. Look who's sitting there waiting for you. So I don't actually know who the Bucks could be. Anyways. And then we go to the NHL. As we can see, there are a couple brawls tonight in the Battle of Florida. We can see Tkachuk kind of getting manhandled here. Lightning take care of business, beat the Panthers 6-1. If you hate the Panthers and you do not want to see a three-peat, this is a positive sign. This is a very positive sign that we keep the Panthers barely hovering above 500, and we pace ourselves in the Atlantic of showing, hey, we can beat these guys if they end up meeting in the postseason, because if I'm going to be honest, they wouldn't meet in the first round. They'd end up meeting in the second. Well, they wouldn't even meet in the playoffs because, hello, Florida's at the bottom of the Atlantic. Let's not overlook that, because if playoffs started tomorrow, they have 37 wins. They have 36. So the 2 seed, the 1 seed, and then we go to conference. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Boston or New York, points wise, there's your 7 and your 8 seed. Let's go back to the divisions. Montreal would be playing Detroit. Pittsburgh would be playing New York. So, so Florida's not even getting to the postseason. But in the event, if they do, today was something to look at and go, yeah, all right. 6-1, 2s all across the board. Vasilevsky, 97 save percent. Was this a blowout? Like, it was a blowout too, but like, how much of a blowout? Oh yeah, okay. It was a blowout. Which is probably why there was a lot of fights too. Panthers on the board. Multiple fights erupt. Burger King ad. Whopper. $37.29. I think this is another reason why they're so far back too. If they lose a game, like, they lose it. They're not like the Avs where they'll lose it in overtime. Because look at overtime losses. Hold on real quick. We'll save that for later. Look at this. Let me show you overtime losses real quick. Look at all these overtime losses. So Kings, Knights, Penguins, Flyers, Wild, like, these teams are still getting points. Avalanche, they're still getting points even though they lose. Versus, come all the way up here. See how Jersey, Florida, and the Ducks, see how the points kind of correlate to, yeah, when you go home empty-handed, kind of hurts your playoff chances. But you know what also hurts? When you're not winning games either, too. Okay. All right, back to the fights. Back to the fights. So we got a little bit of a scuffle. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. Oh yeah. And then they just clobber and beat the shit out of each other. Yep. Tempers flaring, boiling over. At that point, what's the score? Yeah, 4-0. Oh, hold on. We got a little dance here into the boards here. Forsling getting involved. Oh yeah. Holy, y'all see that right hook? Hold on. That was a good check there. Right. Watch here. Good hit right. You're going to see it, like, it's going to be on the corner of the screen over here. And they're going to fly out of the screen. Right here. Watch Forsling. Yeet. That's funny. That's freaking funny. Oh my gosh. What the? Oh. Yep. Probably gonna get something on that one. I don't know. Joey doesn't share food, and by Joey I mean the good old ESPN, because the Bobrovsky fight, I showed the Bobrovsky fight and I got in trouble for that. So yeah. All right, guys, I think we are gonna end Dream here.